made some art. Hold on, a moment for the shirt, please. Thank you. Hold on, a moment for the vinyls as well.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
Don't look at that chair. It's my outfit for tomorrow. I have it laid out. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about this art that I made. I made art, and I'm not trying to be pretentious about it. I'm actually going to be highly critical of it. It's really weird as an artist, I guess I'll call myself an artist, to declare something as completed, because it was really hard. Literally, this wasn't finished until I made one final tweak before I started this video today. And I started it August 9th, 2025.
Damn.
I guess I should show you the art that I'm talking about. Obviously, this is inspired by Bad Bunny's Debí Tirar Más Fotos album cover specifically, but the album and what the album represents. Now, let's get something straight right off the bat. I am a white American woman.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
I think that's something I carry a lot of shame about, and for as long as I can remember, it's always been something that I wish I could change. However, that's not how this works. I have been immersed in Latino culture since middle school, really, and learning Spanish and learning about the people and the culture since then for over 10 years now, close to, oh my God, 13 years.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
Lucky enough to be immersed in this culture and been welcomed in and invited in by my close friends and past relationships.
Clap if you care.
And I'm endlessly grateful for those experiences, and it's part of what makes me who I am today, I think. That's a little bit of background about why I love Bad Bunny so much. I've been listening to him since like 2018. The first song I heard of his was Soy Peor. Around the time that it came out, I was in high school, I believe.
Damn.
And he's been on my playlists. He's been on my constant rotation ever since. And so it's really, really fucking cool to see him skyrocket the way that he is. And it's so well deserved. Marcelo Hernandez says something along the lines of like,
and they're making the music that my kids will one day have to clean to.
And I think that is such a simple and endearing way to put it, because Bad Bunny is going to be played for generations, and I'm actually going to get emotional about it if I continue. So I'm going to move on and talk about me. This canvas is This canvas is really important to me. And I'll kind of walk you through my process on it. Before I moved back in with my parents, I would take daily walks around my neighborhood, and it was a beautiful neighborhood. I love this album. And I remember the day it dropped. I will remember exactly where I was the day that it dropped. I don't know why my art video has turned into an album analysis, but it is kind of, it does obviously is heavily inspired by the album. Album of the year. Thank you very much. Super Bowl performer. Thank you very much. So I used to go on daily walks around my neighborhood, paying attention to my neighborhood and my neighbors and looking in their yards because I'm a little bit nosy, and started noticing everybody's little chairs in their front yard. And it took a couple of walks, a couple of days for me to realize and make the connection between the chairs and Benito's album. Those two chairs symbolize,
I want to make history.
Connection. I obviously just got the idea to make my own version of Bad Bunny's album cover. Well, on these walks, I started taking pictures.
I just want to take some pictures.
Actually, it sounds really creepy because there I am on my walks taking pictures of the front of people's houses, but I promise, if you saw me taking a picture of your house, it was literally just because your chairs inspired me. If you're watching this and you recognize the chairs in this canvas, thank you for your inspiration.
Okay.
Anyways, these are very light interpretations of the actual photos, which I'll include so you can see. how I got where I did, and I play with the colors for sure, but I drew inspiration, of course, from the original photos. I took a bunch of photos around the neighborhood and I landed on these 6. Each one makes me feel differently as well. And I'm really trying hard not to get emotional, but it's like overflowing in like behind my face, behind the scenes here. The emotions are overflowing and I'm trying to ignore it, but I'm an emotional person. When I first started this project, I had this approach to art that was very... It was an attempt at perfection. It was this square first, then this square, then this square, and then this square, and I really struggled. I did the top 2 squares first, I believe, and then came that middle left square. Ew! It's my least favorite. Still, since the beginning, since I created that square, it was my least favorite, and now at the end, it is still my least favorite. There are layers upon layers upon layers. There's even some acrylic paint in this one because I had to cover up terrible color choices. And it sat for months because I hated it. And I had no motivation or desire to touch it because I had no idea how to finish it. I called one of my closest friends. She is a real phenomenal artist. She is absolutely insane. Her name is Atna Asafarad, and I'm kind of talking to her about my struggles with this fucking canvas, and she kind of just gave me the inspiration like to stop trying to perfect the process and just create. She
Just do it!
inspired me, and she actually said that the middle left one was her favorite one so far, and I was like, bitch, you lying, that's crazy. And she literally was like hyped me all up and inspired me to finish it, and then she said, I'm gonna let you go now. Go finish the canvas. Hung up on me. And I'm like, okay. And I sat down right here in this chair and I headphones on and I've never created like that before. It was, I have to stop crying on the internet because it's going to quickly become the only thing people know me for. It's crying and overreacting on the internet. But I can't help it. It's who I am. I've never created so freely. I literally texted her afterwards and it was like, thank you so much for pushing me the way that you did. I needed that, and that was it was exactly what I needed to finish this, and here's the progress, and I'm very happy with it. And I made a couple of adjustments, a lot of adjustments after that big we'll call it flow state. I hit flow state for real, and it felt so good. I lost track of time. I lost myself completely in it. My mind was clear. I was creating without thinking freely. I was being messy. I was coloring outside the fucking lines, which is how I got into the detail of letting, you'll see down the middle line, you'll see in the top 2, the bush bleeds into the left square, and you see a couple little details there where I kind of let them be a part of each other. And it started unintentionally. It started because I drew outside the fucking lines and I was like, I'm actually gonna crash out. But then I was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. So, and it ended up being what it is, and I'm very happy with it. At the end of the day, it's very hard to be like, this is what I made and it's perfect and I love it, and go fuck yourself if you don't like it. I think that I will forever be the most critical of the things that I make, mostly because you got to beat the people to it. Nobody can hurt my feelings if I already hurt my feelings, but also because it's truly what I believe. Took me 6 It took me 6 months to finish this. I have favorites. I want to say the middle right one. I've always really loved the simplicity of that one, and I'm obsessed with the color scheme of that one too. I love the red chair, and I picked this like terracotta orange that I mixed together with my cheap ass, busted old ass watercolors. But hey, they work clearly. And that was the first one that I did. I did the bush. I did the texture with the bush, and I really adventured out of my comfort zone there because I create within these rules that I made up in my head, and this is a very special piece to me because it will forever be the one where I finally let go. And look at what I got. How cool. Oh my god, stop
crying.
That one's really special to me, and I fucked up the tiles. It's not like a classic checker, but I'm like, who fucking cares? Whatever. The dimensions are off. Like, there's so many flaws. The upper right one, what is that floor? What is happening on the ground? That is two-dimensional, girl. It looks like nobody can walk there. But whatever. I also love the color scheme of that one as well. The top left was the first one, and it's the most true to the original photo. I added some details in the window because the window was really pissing me off because it looks elementary. It irritates the shit out of me. But I added that little bar detail because it's actually something that you see a lot in my neighborhood, my old neighborhood. I had a security door on my own front door that had a similar pattern to that, but it was white, and I just like that little added detail, and I think it adds character to that one as well. I really love the way that I played with texture in this. I'm very happy with that, and it was very rewarding because for me it was a risk, but it really paid off, and it taught me something ultimately as an artist, as a creative person. The bottom left was a lot of fun because it's a lot of detail specifically in the chairs, and it was really simple, and I had to make a lot of adjustments because I live in the desert. This type of color doesn't happen here. I had to pull that out of my ass and create that in my own little happy world. Bottom left one was a lot of fun and very time consuming, and I played, even you can see it mostly on the yellow one, I played with the shadows and a little bit on that chair, and I'm also very happy with how the chairs turned out, and I enjoy the colors that I chose. I think overall it's very cohesive. I'm saving the bottom right one for last because I was at peak flow state when I did this one. Without the blue wall and the fancy Nancy style overflowing abundance of a confetti sprinkle flower garden that is behind it. It's very cartoonish, that part. I actually think all of this is quite realistic and fairly true to its original inspiration. However, this bottom right one, that flower bed does not occur in nature. It's just not real. But I started creating it because it needed color. If you look at it without that, it's quite bland and sad, and it needed vibrant color. And that's where that came from, and I just let color throw up and all over it, and I love the way the greenery like spills over the edges, and it just looks like it looks so luscious. It looks like you can just like, I don't know what this is, but that's what I want to do to that flower bush. I just want to like put my hands in there and like fluff it up. I see a story in those chairs when I look at them more than I do out of the other chairs, for sure. It just looks a little bit more lived in, and maybe it's because I didn't choose like a vibrant, clean color. They look dirty, and they just look like they're decades old, like they've been passed down from generations, and that there's endless stories that we'll never know in those chairs, and I think that's really cool. And that's where I decided to put my signature. I also played the most with texture, I think, in this one, successfully. I played the most successfully. It started with the tree. No, did it? I might have started with the bush right next to it, and then I was nervous because all of the greens, well, it's a lot of green and brown, different shades of green and brown, but the tree, the greenery in the tree, the bush, and the grass all started to like look the same. So I started playing with how I was, like the technique of how I was using my brush, which was playing with the different textures. And some people might look at this and be like, girl, that shit all looks the same. That shit, whatever you're saying you did not. Girl, whatever. I think I did. So whatever. I'm very happy with it. And I'm looking back at it and I'm remembering like what I did and where I took risks and where I was like holding my breath trying something new and hoping that I wasn't about to ruin everything, and in turn I did not, and it turned out really beautifully. And this is a really, really special piece of art for me. And I contemplated getting rid of it, of course, because that middle left square, it fucking haunts me, but it might just be too special to me as an artist to let it go. It really means something to me, and it's pivotal in my art style. It's pivotal in a lot of ways for me, and who I am as a person even affects down to that level, down to my core. It affects me, and how I view perfection, and how I view creating, and how I view myself as an artist, because I made this. This canvas was blank, and now it is anything but that, and it tells a story, and AI cannot replace this. And I'm really happy I made it, and I really like it. So, oh my god, I'm gonna cry again.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Now that I've cried a million times and yapped into the oblivion. The Super Bowl is tomorrow, and I am very excited. I thought this would be a fitting time to share this art that I've made, especially because I've just finished it after 6 months of working on it in pieces, taking breaks from it and returning to it, and it's very symbolic in that way, I think. If not for you, for me, and that's all that matters. Happy Benito Bowl to the Album of the Year award winner, Grammy Award winner, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. Come back next time as this channel grows, because I'm really excited to. I realized a while ago that short form content is not for me. I have so much more to say, and I just simply cannot fit myself into 60 seconds or less. So I'm going to be making videos when I make them, if that's all right with you guys. I have big plans for my digital footprint. Hopefully you stick around to see it. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked my art. If you did like my art, tell me. If you didn't, block me and never return, because that's mean. Okay. Okay, I need to learn how to shut up. Okay, bye. Thank you.